Hi there, it's Sam from Pootles.co.uk. Thank you very much for joining me today. Today's project is this one. Now, if you've been following me for a while, this might be familiar to you. So, let me give you a little bit of backstory. When I make a project that has got something inside it that's not edible, so tea lights, lip balm, stuff like that, I hang on to them and give them away. They are brilliant to have on standby for the boys to give to teachers at the end of term or Christmas and stuff like that. If it's edible, somebody in the house is going to eat it. But normally they all get used up. And I was looking in my inspiration drawers recently for some candles and I saw this in there and I was like, oh, I made that last year. And I thought, well, that would be fun to remake it this year because we've brought the paper back. So I went to my blog post from last year and I released this project in November last year, right after I'd been to On Stage. And I've actually got an edited part at the beginning saying, we've sold out. I'm really sorry. It wasn't my intention to do a video with a sold out product. So I just thought it would be quite funny to remake the project with the original project as my sample, but bring it up to date. Now, of course, yes, we do now have the paperback. It was such a shame that it sold out so quickly. It was so popular. I really hope that you've all got it or are going to get it soon. But yeah, I just thought that's really funny because normally I've run out. Normally I have to make extras when the boys need to give them as gifts. But I, for some reason, had that still in my drawer. Okay, so I'm actually literally using my own blog post for my instructions. You know, why invent the wheel? So yeah, brightly gleaming, designer series paper. We brought back the stamp set and the punches too. I'm just using the paper on this one. I have used the stamp and punch there, just using the paper because I'm going to switch it up a little bit. This needs to be 7 3/4 by 5 1/4 inches, which is 19.5 by 14 centimetres. I really do hope I didn't type up my own instructions wrong. That would be awkward. Okay, on the long side, score it at 3/4 inch and 7 inches, which in metric is 2 and 17.5. Then on the short side, score it at 3/4 inch, 2 1/4, 3, 4.5. Yes, that's right. I was looking at that bit going, that's the same. Missing out that bit there. 4.5. Okay. 3/4, 2 1/4, 4 and try that again. 3/4, 2 1/4, 3, 4.5, which in metric, so much simpler. 2, 6, 8, 12. I'm so glad I live in a metric country. Okay. Do you know what? It's all on my blog. It's all on the original blog post, but it's all going to be on the blog post attached to this project, this one itself. So, you know, you don't need to write it down. You don't even need to listen to me giving you measurements, especially when I can't speak them. Okay, so I'm just burnishing everything. I have made these in cardstock before, and I have made them in cardstock with paper on top, and obviously I made a paper version. It doesn't matter what you use, it's all going to be perfectly fitting a tea light, or 4 of them to be specific. Right, so this is the way around you need it. So I've got 6 little squares, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to find some smaller scissors, and I'm going to wedge into each of those little squares. Keep straight on the rectangle, wedge the squares. That's the rule of thumb. It doesn't always work exactly like that, but pretty much straight on the rectangle, wedge the square. Somebody's been at my scissors because they've moved. That does not live there. That's better. Oh, better cut now. Can't get hold of that little bit. There we go. One of my sons is on the top floor having a Zoom team class. And I'm pretty sure it's business studies. I don't know if you can hear it, but he's laughing out loud. He and his classmates. Brilliant. Okay, on one of the very first versions of this I made, I used the classic label punch to get a little sort of sniff hole, because scented candles, oh gosh, these have been living in my drawer for ages. They're picking up glitter from other ones. Yeah, some of these are scented, or they might have just picked up the fragrance from my drawers, but yeah, that one isn't. They do smell quite nice, sort of like a musky vanilla. But anyway, these made, you know, by doing this and punching a little hole, it meant that there was sort of sniff room. I don't know if that's the right terminology. You could sniff it without actually having to open the box. So for my friends who sell tea lights and candles and things like that, you're not going to have anybody trashing your box. I don't know why I've just cut a template. I don't need a template. What I need to do is just feed this through and eyeball. Actually, yeah, shall I show you how to do it with a template? Let's do that. Okay, so I've punched and now stuck to my table one plain white classic label punch, and I'm just going to decide where I want it to go. And I'm going to put this, I don't want it completely off centre, about there. Yeah, we'll go there. And I'm just going to feed this through and punch around it. And I now have a little window. You could put some window sheet behind it, or you could leave it open and then somebody would get the fragrance from it. Why is that sticking on there? Anyway, right, so I'm going to get some Seal Plus and just put little blobs of glue in those little squares that I've just hacked into. And that's going to be the top, so I'm going to leave that till last. And you just bring around your edges and line it all up. So that's the base of the box. If I remember rightly, this is how long ago it was that I designed this original box. I'm fairly sure it was the window punch, or word window punch, that I used. But there's my 4 candles. Handles for forks. Anybody a Two Ronnies fan? There we go, 4 candles in there. And you can see them, that's so cute. So cute. Right, obviously I used the Christmas Gleaming stamp set and the ornament punches. Lane swerve this time, I'm doing something different. I'm going to use gift wrapped, because I haven't used it for a while and it's terribly pretty. And I haven't used it, and that's, you know, outrageous. So I'm going to grab one of these. I don't know which one I fancy. I want the bow. I'm not putting words on. I'm just putting the bow on. As you see, it's got stars on it. It's not deliberately Christmas. And this paper, not deliberately Christmas. So I'm just making a gift wrap parcel. I think I want one of those two. I don't think I want the tartan. One of those. The one that's closest to me is that one. Actually, I'm going to use the one I've not used yet. Actually, I think I've used it once. Right. There we go. Okay, here's the thing. I can't decide which colour to put with it. Do I use... Not that anybody can answer, this isn't a live video. I filmed it in advance. I'm going to use Shaded Spruce. Which one would you use to go with Night of Navy? A bright pink. This is Magenta Madness. We have Melon Mambo too. A good pairing. Or would you go with something like Shaded Spruce? I'm saying all of this. I might punch it out and decide I hate it, but let's just run with it. It's ink. And that's just straight onto Whisper White, and then I need my matching punch. And pop it on there. Yeah, I quite like that. That's good. That is good. So we're going to do that. I'm going to do my Winchester. I was going to do my Winchester trick. There it is. which is where you get your wink of Stella and you just make the colours bleed. And hopefully you can see that in the centre. I can see it. It really brings out that wonderful sea green tone to the shaded spruce. This is not an emerald green. Shaded spruce has more blue in it. So when you bleed it out like this, it kind of goes aqua sea green. If I described a sea green dress to you, you'd think this colour in the background. There we go. Just wipe that off. I'm going to pop that on there with some dimensionals. I did think about putting ribbon on it. I did actual ribbon on there, but that was what made me think, no. Oh, zoom back out. Yeah, I put ribbon on my original one, and I thought about doing it, and then I thought, no, I'll punch a ribbon. So I'm going to do that. Why not, when I can find my dimensionals? Underneath my telephone and my stamp set. Oh, shall I go that side or shall I go that side? Look, I just can't make the decisions today. There. What a fun way to revisit an old project. And like I said, I've been making this style of box for years and showing you lots of different ways that you can decorate it. It just struck me as amusing that I had that left over when I originally did the project. We'd run out of the paper. We now have it back. Let's bring it back. Anyway, thank you ever so much for joining me. Hope to speak to you very soon. Bye.